Hey everybody, I released a video yesterday talking about Picom, which is a fork of Compton, but I've been playing around with it a little bit, and I think that Compton, the original project, is a little bit more stable, at least on some machines. So if you've been having issues with that, go ahead and try this original fork. I'm going to show you how to set that up here using the Kawasi blur as well. Essentially the same thing as yesterday. If you're on an Arch-based machine, you can go ahead and install this package. Slightly different name from yesterday. It is Compton-try1-git. And you can go ahead and install that with Yay or clone it from the AUR and use make package. Either way, go ahead and get that installed. I already have it installed, so I'm going to leave it alone. After that, let's go ahead and create our configuration directory, which is in your homedir.config/Compton. And I already have it made, so let's go ahead, cd into here, and I'm going to remove this. So by default, there's going to be nothing in here. You're going to go ahead and copy the default configuration. This is the file path, etc/xtg/compton.conf.example. I'm going to go ahead and copy that here, and so you have the name compton.conf. Let's change this default configuration. There's a few things that need to be modified to get this working. So first, let's hop down to opacity. Let's enable inactive and active opacity. So inactive opacity is your inactive windows, your unfocused windows. That's going to make those transparent, and your active opacity is going to make your focused window transparent. So you can set those at any value between 0 and 1 as a decimal, and 1 would be completely opaque and 0 would be completely transparent. And let's go ahead and enable a couple more things. We need blur background on, have that set to true. The blur method by default is Kawasi, which is what we want. If you want to change the blur strength, it's default set to 5. Get any value between 1 and 20, 1 being the least blurry and 20 being the most blurry. And let's scroll down. The last thing that we need to change is this backend to GLX, and that should get it working for most people. There is one strange thing that needs to be enabled on some clients for some reason. It is this mark overreader focus. I'm not sure what this actually is. This needs to be set to false for your inactive windows to actually be blurred. I'm not sure why that is, but it just is how it's working. So now we can run Compton pointing to this configuration file. It doesn't seem to grab this by default in this location. So you can point to this configuration file and run it. And now we can see that we have these different windows with this blur, this Kawasi blur. And I noticed one thing is when I'm adding or removing windows, it has this fade effect. If you don't like that, you can go in and change fading to false in the configuration, which I can show you here. Set to true by default. You just change this to false and go ahead and run this again. And now you can see it's a lot more instant. It feels a lot more responsive, personally, how I like it. As far as these errors go, you can ignore those for the most part, or if you figure out what those actually are, let me know in the comment section. I haven't found it to actually affect anything, but this does seem to be running a lot better than the Picom fork, which I showed yesterday. So if you have any comments or suggestions, please let me know in the comments, and have a good one.